Surviving infidelity. Update: wife cheated and manipulated our kids. I don't know what to do. Original story. Me, 34 male, and my wife, 33 female, had been married for 11 years. We have 2 children together, 10 male, 11 female. We were together for 15 years. I earn a decent living and earn up to 400-500K a year. But at times, I have to do projects which require traveling. Our marriage was good with several ups and downs. In October 2019, I had to travel to Europe for work. I stayed there for a month. When I got back from the work, everybody was a bit distant and cold towards me. They didn't come to receive me at the airport. I had to call an Uber. They ignored my talks and only communicated with me when necessary. I had doubts, so I asked my daughter, why is she acting rude towards me? She just said, "Hope you had fun at your business trip." This was out of character for her. Few days passed and I am confused about the situation. I asked my wife multiple times about their behavior. She always said that they were tired of long day at school. One night, I was checking my email on my family iMac. As I was finishing my work, I noticed that my wife's account is logged in. I thought of opening messages. I saw that one of her colleagues was on the top. I opened their conversation and scrolled through entire page, seeing their flirting, texting and exchanging nudes. They planned on meeting at hotels. Apparently, she had ended things with him because she was feeling too guilty about it. I confronted her. She cried and begged me to give her another chance. I had anger issues in past, so I simply took a drive to my brother's house and spent the night there. Next day when I came home, kids had already gone to school. She asked me to sit down on the couch to talk. She said that she was feeling alone at the time and he apparently made her feel special. I asked her about timeline and said that if she lied, I would give her divorce. She told me every detail. She had slept with him once at the end of affair. She felt disgusted afterwards. She said she had too much guilt and ended things with him. I told her that I would divorce her. I contacted lawyer and told him to start preparing the papers. As we had a prenup signed, so divorce was an easy option. I went to my room and opened my Mac to collect some proof of her infidelity. To my surprise, she had deleted all of it. Next day, she threatened me to not divorce her, or she will take away our kids. She told them in the beginning of my work trip that I had an affair and had gone to see my girlfriend, when in reality, I had gone for work. She made fake conversations of me and another girl. She also told them that I would leave them alone on the streets to be with my girlfriend. She had manipulated them so much that they were convinced that I was the bad guy. In our country, if parents get a divorce, then the custody of children would be given to the parent by kid's choice. I was helpless at this point. I canceled divorce and proceeded to reconcile. It's been almost a year that I am going through this crap. My kids don't respect me like they used to, they don't show affection. My wife has been keeping the secret from my children. She also has been treating me like crap. Our bedroom is dead and I haven't had sex in 7 to 8 months. Because of all the stress at home, I stay out of home most of the time. I go home only to sleep at night. This led to an emotional connection with one of my colleagues for past month. She is also divorced. Her husband cheated on her and left her for another girl in another continent. We have long talking sessions, dinners, and movie nights. I have been deprived of love and affection at my own home. I have told my wife to start showing affection. I try to kiss her, hug her, but I am always turned down. Last week, I got intimate with my colleague. This was first intimacy I was having in 9 to 10 months. It was the best action of my life. I have come here looking for an advice. Should I divorce my wife and be with my colleague? Or should I just live this double life? I have never been loved or appreciated in my home, but my colleague appreciates everything I do for her. If I leave my family, then my kids will think that their mom's claims were right. I will be the bad guy in the eyes of my kids for life. Any advice? Now for the top advice before reading the update. Hire a private investigator while the divorce papers are being prepared. She's still seeing the affair partner, that's why your bedroom is dead. You're a meal ticket to her. That was my thought as well. She's turning down his advances because she doesn't want to cheat on the affair partner. The wife sounds like an awful person. Karma will eventually catch up to her, and in this case, it sounds like it will be financially. I think hiring API is a good move in the process of divorce and uncovering the truth for the sake of my kids. You need to divorce. This fake relationship you have with your wife is not any better for your kids to be exposed to than divorce would be. As far as your wife manipulating your kids, all I can say is tell them the truth. They unfortunately probably won't believe you today, But someday they will realize what their mom has done, and you will be a family with them again. There's no evidence left to prove her affair and kids does not believe me, so I think that I would always be a bad guy in their eyes. The truth will come out eventually. Don't let her win. I'll file for divorce ASAP. Talk with the kids, give your side of the story about the manipulation. Assure them you love them. Divorce the wife. I think divorce is my only option. And now for the update. It's been a week since my last post and a lot has happened since then. As I read comments of my previous post, many of you had doubts that she is still having an affair, or sleeping with someone else. I don't think that's possible. Since her affair in October, she left her job as soon as I discovered the affair, and then we installed cameras in our house and I could see the live view of camera whenever I want. She barely goes out and just watch Netflix while eating snacks. She has also gained around 60 to 70 pounds in this period of time. So, hiring a private investigator for investigating if she is having an ongoing affair, is not reasonable to me. Many of you suggested of recording her conversation with me about her affair. This was a solid move, thanks to Reddit. I also recovered my old messages and receipts to give my kids, to prove that I was on work trip last year. Also, many of you suggested to recover texts and pictures from my Mac using some professional help, but my wife is tech specialist so I don't think that she would leave any evidence. I ordered good quality small and portable voice recorder. I also planned a trip to my parents' house with the kids, as I wanted alone time with them to describe the situation. They love their grandparents, so I knew they would never deny the trip. I also told my whole plan to my colleague, and requested her to understand my situation. She was very supportive and told me that she would not contact me for a whole week, except for work-related issues. On Wednesday, my voice recorder arrived at my office. On Thursday evening, I drove my kids to my parents' house. They stayed there, but I returned to my house after dropping off the kids. I spent the night at my house with my wife. I started recording and kept it in my pocket. I tried to initiate intimacy with my wife but she was ignoring me. I asked her what has she done for me in the past year, other than manipulating my kids against me. She started shouting and said, "I'll make sure they never know the truth, and you'll never able to give me divorce." I asked her if she would ever be intimate with me, to which she answered by saying, "I have no interest in intimacy, but you have. So it's not my problem. Go look somewhere else for it." I said that I am not like her, and would never break my vows for an affair like she did. At this point, she was angry and said, "I had an affair because you left me lonely, and treated me like crap. If you want, you can have one too. But don't disturb me." She was so loud that even our neighbors would have heard that. I got the proof I needed to prove my children I was not a cheater. On Friday, I took the voice recorder to my office, edited the audio and saved it on multiple devices. I also collected other proofs of me at work on business trip last year. In the evening, I went to my parents' house and spent the night. On Saturday morning, I sat down with my kids and told them my side of story. They obviously didn't believe me, until I showed them the proof. My daughters started crying. My kids hugged me and assured me that they will never hate me or act rude towards me in future. To be honest, this was the moment I was waiting for the whole year. That night was the best night of my life. I never had felt so close to my kids in years. On Sunday, I called my wife and told her that me and the kids were going on a vacation and would not be able to contact her for next 3 to 4 days. I also contacted my lawyer, and told him to prepare the divorce papers. Now here I am with my kids preparing for mountain climbing. I haven't told the kids about my colleague. I also plan to start family therapy with my kids so that my communication with them can improve. I am planning to tell them about my colleague after the divorce during therapy. Thanks to all Redditors who gave me idea of voice recording. This will be my last post, but if anything happens, I'll update you guys. Now for some comments. Jesus, wow. I'm happy for you. I've been waiting for this update. I hope things stay well with your kids. Good luck with the divorce, and I hope you won't have to have too much involvement with that woman from now on. Thanks. I know the desire to make your case with the kids, and I know you have to say something to them, but try not to put them in the middle of your divorce. Try not to put them in the middle of your divorce. That's not possible when you have one side trying to defame the other. OP's wife put the kids in the middle of the divorce. It is possible. While OP certainly had to take action and have a discussion here, they should not be continuing to give their children a blow-by-blow update of what's going on. Based on how much info they had collected, My concern is that they're going to treat their children like confidants rather than 10-year-old kids. Not gonna lie man, this sub is too happy for you. All the best with the divorce. Stay strong, more power to you. Thanks. Actually, the idea of recording was given by you guys, so this sub has been a blessing for me. Now for the last story. Ex marries her affair partner, days after the divorce. Never thought my 35 male life would become a train wreck, after all these years of blissful married life. We have been together for 8 years, 6 years married. She, 32 female, was closer to my parents than I am. Our marriage was perfect and the intimacy was great. Granted, that there were some lean periods now and then, but we always managed to find our way back to each other with renewed effort and steadfastness. Both of us were in high-paying jobs and there were no problems financially. The only recurring argument that we used to have is in regards to having kids. I always wanted to start a family with her. Coming from a big family myself, I couldn't wait to start my own. She however maintained that she wasn't comfortable taking on a parenting role so soon in her life. Of course, I respected her opinion. She had certain aspirations in her professional front, and she needed time and space to establish herself, something she would lack if she got pregnant so soon. 3 years back, she got a career-changing promotion and I was extremely happy for her. She had sacrificed a lot for her career and therefore it was all the more special when her efforts were rewarded. This however, took a toll on our relationship. Her new role came with more responsibilities. I found her constantly exhausted and distant. She often stayed back late and even used to take official trips on weekends. Our intimacy hit an all-time low. We only had intimacy when I initiated it, and that too very rarely, as she mostly excused herself with some reason or the other. This made me frustrated, but I stopped making any advances from my end after a point. In hindsight, I realized that she never stopped caring for herself even when the bedroom fun was zero, be it revamping her wardrobe, hitting the gym often, and dressing up regularly. I respected her too much to think that she would do something as low as sleeping outside the marriage. It never occurred to me even once. When I found it, it was completely by accident. My phone was low on charge and I picked hers to make a call. Her phone was nearby, though I didn't know her pattern. My wife was asleep and I didn't want to wake her up. To this day, I don't know what spurred me to do it, but I took her phone by the sides and held it tilted against the light. Dimly, I could make up the swipe pattern of her fingers which I replicated. I was surprised that it actually worked. Ignoring the guilty feeling, I opened up her WhatsApp messenger. There was nothing on it and I felt a pang of shame for a moment. I closed it and then opened up her Facebook Messenger. My whole life came tumbling down. I found it all there, 13 months of endearing texts, sweet nothings, shared reminiscences, and promises to meet up for encounters. She had an intense emotional and physical affair going on with her boss, ever since she had been promoted. They had done it everywhere, on his car, on his house, on office trips, and even in his private cabin at the office. I literally went numb with pain. I wish I had confronted her then and there, but somehow my mind stopped working. I just sat there on the couch like a zombie, and I still remember her waking up and getting ready for the office with that coy look on her face, humming and whistling like a teenager going on a date. I just sat there like a frozen doll. The whole week went in a haze as I still couldn't work up the courage to confront her. And yet with each passing day I felt something die in me little by little. My chat with my best friend helped me a little, and I finally broke the news and confronted her. I had imagined that she would break down, apologize to me, and offer to work on our marriage. I had entertained the possibility of us taking marriage counseling. Yet, none of that happened. She did break down briefly with tears and apologized for the hurt that they had caused me. Only after she said did I realize the enormity of the situation. They were truly sorry for the hurt that they had caused. It was never their intention to hurt anyone and that they had wanted to open up about the same for a long time, but she thought that I wasn't ready for it. I begged and cried like a child to make her stay, but she was all set. In my pettiness and desperation, I even threatened to complain about them at her work. It was probably the straw that broke the camel's back. After that, there was simply no hope for reconciliation, and she broke all contacts with me and only communicated via her lawyer. The divorce only happened 6 months later, after which she promptly moved in with him. I didn't contest her and the settlement was fair for both of us, as she too was gainfully employed. They are married now, and the other day, I was checking out her Facebook, which I admit I do regularly. They had posted a happy pic captioning that she is now pregnant, which was strange as she never wanted to start a family with me when I had been married with her for years. I just don't understand anymore. I had grown more and more miserable day by day. I tried dating but it just doesn't work for me anymore. I had never been as happy as I was during the first few years of our marriage, when we were simply infatuated with each other. I wish I could go back in time and change things even, though I don't know what I could do differently. Now for the top advice. Man. I felt terrible reading your post. I understand your emotions, bro, but you need to move on. Time will help you to heal, and don't check her Facebook from now on, as it's only going to bring back all the emotions. Believe in yourself, brother, and get back to the dating world. You certainly will find someone who will treat you right. Just go no contact with her, and let the time to do its job. You'll certainly heal, just don't give up. I'm with you, man. I agree with this. The Facebook checking is something I did a lot after D-Day. Back then, I just wanted to know what she was up to, not knowing it was driving me insane, but opening that up just created more suffering. It took me several attempts at forcing myself not to check in on her, but I stuck to it. Till eventually, I no longer cared and my nerves were better off for it. Your story reads like so many stories here. Your story is our story. I'm so sorry you're in this place. I wish I could go back in time and change things even though I don't know what I could do differently. Cheaters follow a pattern. You have to understand that it's nothing you did or didn't do. It's not your fault. These people have a relentless void within themselves and it consumes good people. Cheaters don't care who they hurt and are only focused on getting what they want in the moment. They are never satisfied and nothing is good enough. They will always chase better, even when they have the best. This is a classic pattern for narcissists. The abrupt devastation that they leave behind in close relationships after they drop their mask, while seamlessly sliding into a new mask and skipping off into a new life, is a telltale sign that you tangled with a narcissist. Essentially, you were married and in love with someone who never existed. You were a character in their play, and now your scene is over. Please be kind to yourself. Trying to understand a person who's so damaged inside, that their basic decency, humanity, and ability to make authentic connections are missing, is a wasted effort. Focus on yourself and your healing. Infidelity is devastating and knocks us to our knees. We're stuck clearing the wreckage that the cheater leaves behind, and that really sucks. It's hard to believe that the person we loved could do this, but in reality, they're not the person we loved. That person is an illusion and we have to grieve that ghost. Stop looking at her social media. That only prolongs your grief. Give yourself time to heal and grieve, rather than dating, because it sounds like you're not ready yet. And that's okay. You'll be okay. It just takes time and you have to push through it. Please do some research on the concept of radical acceptance. You need to accept all that has happened, which doesn't mean you like or condone it. Until you can truly accept it, you won't be able to successfully move on to the best is yet to come. And that's it for this video, guys. If you have thoughts to share, leave a comment below. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe if you like this content. I'll catch you in the next one. Good day, everyone.